In the last stream, we were working on trying to get a lot more relic scrap, and we did that in two ways. The first way is via our mob spawner over here, our summoning block. We placed a block of emerald beneath that, and now whenever we right-click on the summoning block with an emerald, we can summon a villager, which we can then convert to whatever occupation we like, and then we can use that villager to trade for relic scrap, which we did with the farmer and the cartographer in the last episode. We also crafted the Amadron tablet here to allow us to sell all of the products that we get from processing crude oil in return for relic scraps. And using those relic scraps, at the very end of the last stream, we purchased a white spray can, and we also purchased, of course, the associated sprayer machine. Now, since the end of the last episode, I have purchased another spray can. I actually purchased two. I purchased the black spray can and the gray spray can. The gray spray can is the one that I ended up deciding that I liked more, and I also set up a second resource generator here so that we're now generating both the gray colored stone and the white colored stone. The white colored stone, as we saw in the last episode, can be crafted with regular stone to make marble, and then that marble can be crafted to make marble bricks. And then the gray colored stone can just be crafted like this to make gray bricks. And as you may have noticed if you were paying attention, I have done a little bit of work between streams on trying to make the base look a little bit nicer. Now, currently, I don't think I have succeeded because right now the base is a complete mess and now just has like a giant hole in the center of it. But this is obviously the start, and we're going to do some more work on trying to make this look nicer. My plan is to have a nice centralized area down at the bottom here. I'm thinking of putting some kind of roof, maybe a dome of some persuasion, on top of these sandstone pillars here to mark the center of our base. And then my plan is to have little areas that go out in each of the four cardinal directions. We've already got an area, of course, for our wheat farm. We're going to add a new area for our chickens, then potentially an area for our pneumatic craft setups. You know, we'll get some more pressure chambers, we'll get our crude oil setup moved over, and we'll also then have a fourth area for future crafts and also potentially for machinery and maybe strainers as well that we need to place somewhere. But yeah, between streams, I've done a little bit of base design. I basically dug a big old hole in the ground, built like a circular base here, and then built some staircases out from that circular base and put some water in the gaps in between. In doing so, I have managed to get quite a large amount of sand. We've got 1,623 sand here. I did make a draw for it because it was filling up our disk drives here. One of the things I would like to do before the end of today's episode is upgrade to potentially a 16K storage disk, just so, again, we've got much more space. We don't have to keep worrying about coming back to the disk drive to check that we have enough space. And another thing that I do want to work on today is I would like to work on integrating storage drawers into our refined storage system. To do that, we're going to need to get a drawer controller, which shouldn't be too expensive. It requires 2 redstone comparators, which just needs 6 redstone torches, as well as some nether quartz, which I'm fairly certain we have in the system. And then other than that, we're just missing a regular old storage drawer and a diamond. Over here, we do not have any diamonds. And the reason for that is because we currently have our emerald chicken sitting on the diamond section. Now, I do not know, annoyingly, which diamond chicken is our 10-10-10 diamond chicken. And at this point in time, we actually have a lot of diamond chickens hanging about. In fact, it looks like none of our... Wait, do we... Oh, no, we don't have a 10-10-10 diamond chicken. That is my bad. We just have a regular diamond chicken. Let's put him on here. We do now, though, have almost 2 hours again in our time in a bottle from the time that I spent between streams making this happen. And as soon as we get that diamond, we should be able to craft up a drawer controller. The benefit of the drawer controller is that we can put an external storage onto that drawer controller to give our refined storage system access to everything in all of the connected drawers to that controller. To make that happen, we're going to need a few more chests, and chest-wise, I think we are basically out of logs at this point. We are. Of course, we can continue to grow more trees, although another thing I do want to work on today is I would like to work on finally getting our chickens fully automated. And one thing we could do is we could get 250 logs and look at setting up a log chicken as well to allow us to passively generate logs via our seed production instead of having to manually cut down trees over and over and over again every time we need more wood. For now, it's going to be the option we have to go with, and thankfully it doesn't take us too long whatsoever. I am going to get rid of this cobblestone wall, and I'm probably also going to move all the cactuses around the outside as well. My plan is to put them on the outside of this little edge here going forward. Back over here, though, let's do this, and we needed at least a few more chests here. And now, the only things missing are some Ender cable, which requires more quartz-enriched iron, which requires more silicon blend, which requires sand. The sand currently not connected to the system, but we do have it available to us. That is completely fine. I'm going to make a few more of those, I think. We do have a fair amount of nether quartz at this point, and I think we are going to need quite a bit of silicon blend going forward here, especially if we are going to make that 16K storage disk before the end of the episode. So let's do this. Let's make a few more of these. Fantastic. And then let's see if we can't make some more quartz-enriched iron. And then from there, we need one destruction core, one construction core, and an improved processor. So most of this seems very doable. Another thing that has been suggested that I do think is a good idea is looking at getting a silicon chicken as well, because we do have a lot of sand. As we saw in the last episode, we can run our sand through the sand mill here to get silicon fairly easily. It's a 50-50 chance. And so if we wanted to transform one of our 10-10-10 chickens into a 10-10-10 silicon chicken, it should, I hope, be as simple as just feeding one of our chickens 250 silicon, which would equate to approximately 500 sand. And as you saw, we've got 1,600 sand available to us, so we have more than enough required here. So if I do this, it doesn't work. That is unfortunate. So it looks like it does have to be the refined storage silicon that you give to the chicken to get the silicon chicken. That is unfortunate. I'm assuming there's no way for us to convert our pre-existing silicon. We can't. So we can use this silicon for crafting, and I will do that for now. But I think if we're going to want to get a silicon chicken, in that case, it's probably going to be a better idea for us to either get 250 silicon. Alternatively, though, the silicon chickens are some of the chickens that do spawn naturally in the world, so we could always just go and find some and then breed those together, much like we've been doing with our other chickens. For now, though, let me quickly whip up a few more processes, and let's see if we can't get this external storage made. And over here, our diamond should be good to go. It is indeed. And so now we should be able to get that storage drawer controller, which is this guy right here. Boom and boom. And for those who don't know, this basically allows you to connect up multiple storage drawers together and access them all via the controller. So you'll see here that when we look at the controller, it shows the sand at the top. And if I were to go and grab another storage drawer, we don't really have any rogue storage drawers lying around. We got this one over here for mineral, but that's kind of already being used. Let me quickly whip up another storage drawer here. We are going to need multiple before the end of the episode. And if I throw this down right about here, we can then throw in, let's say, our grey colored stone, like so. And again, looking at the drawer, you'll see it's all there. And the real big benefit here, if you're just using the drawer controller, is that if you double right click on the drawer controller, it will take any items out of your inventory that it can put into any of the storage drawers attached, and it'll do it all at the same time. So you don't have to manually go through and individually put different items into their respective drawers. You can just do it all via the controller. And the benefit for us is that if we put an external storage onto the drawer controller and then connect that external storage to our refined storage system, it's going to give the refined storage system access to everything in all of the drawers connected to the drawer controller. And I believe in this version of modded Minecraft, you can go quite far out. There is a limit to how far you can connect these. Like, you can't connect an infinite number of drawers, but I think the area is maybe like 32 by 32 or 64 by 64. It goes real big. You can connect basically as many drawers as you like to the drawer controller in these newer versions. But as I was saying, let me grab some more gold and some more iron. I'll also grab some redstone whilst I'm here. And of course, we've got the silicon. Let's go see if we can't make some more processes to get that external storage. All right, so a few improved and basic processes later. I do want to make more of these. You'll see I've got more raw basic processes here. I decided to just make a bunch of them so that we don't have to keep coming back over and over again. One thing I would like to do, though, real quick, is I would like to make the inscriber faster. Annoyingly, the time in a bottle here does not work on the inscriber. Like, you can use it on the inscriber, but it just doesn't have any effect. What you can do, though, is you can make these acceleration cards to make the inscriber faster. These are made by crafting advanced cards first, which are not too expensive, but they do require the diamonds, and they make it, a little bit expensive. And then you just craft these with fluix crystals, and that gets us acceleration cards. You can put up to 4 acceleration cards into the inscriber here to make it a fair bit faster than it is by default. You'll see it's going much quicker now than it was previously. I did use a little bit of our time to make this chicken a little faster, and he is still going. One of the things we should start looking at doing is definitely breeding these chickens together, you know, breeding the diamond chickens with the diamond chickens and trying to get up past 1-1-1 so we can start working towards 10-10-10 variants of chickens that we use quite regularly. But we should now have enough of these processes here. I'm going to do this, this, and this just to get those going, but we should have enough to make the external storage. So for the external storage, we of course needed the destruction core, easy enough, and the construction core, easy enough. And at that point, it's just a cable we're missing. The cable is glass, quartz and stone, redstone, boom, and boom. Nice. So this can go down, for example, right about here on the draw controller. We checked the config, by the way. The draw controller has a default range of 50, so you can build 50 blocks in each direction for a maximum range of 101 by 101. It's gigantic. So in theory, you could put down 49 more draws on this side, 49 more draws on this side, and it's a big, like 50 cube, so you can go 50 up as well as 50 down. It's massive. You can collect a lot of draws in the newer versions of modded Minecraft, but either way, for us, we're not necessarily going to need that. What we do need, though, is cable. So if we were to connect this up to our controller, like so, we should now be able to access the sand and the grey-colored stone from inside the crafting grid. And we totally can. Look at that, 1,410. If I take a stack of sand out, it's going to pull that stack of sand out of this drawer. You'll see we're at 1,371. We take another stack out, we're now at 1,307. One thing we do want to do is make sure that the priority on this is set to high. So in here, the priority is set to 0. If we set it to, say, 10, the higher the priority, the earlier it's going to go. So by setting this to a priority of 10, we can also set the disk drive to a priority of -10. Basically, what we're telling the system now is that we want it to try and put things into the storage drawers before it puts things into the disk drive. And so now if I put my sand back in, it's not going to put the sand on the disk drive, it's going to put the sand back into the storage drawers. Usually it does this by default, so you don't really have to worry too much about the priority. From my experience, it will try and put things into the external storage first, but just to be safe, it is worth changing that priority, just because it's very quick and easy to do. So my plan now, I think, is probably going to be to move this drawer controller, and of course move these drawers, because they don't particularly look great in this this current location. I'm also thinking that it's probably going to be a good idea for us to look at getting some framed drawers as well. These are storage drawers that you can customize to look however you like. I am thinking that there was an idea posed in the Twitch chat that I thought was quite good, and that idea was that we could potentially hide these storage drawers behind the water in the base here. And so if we take our sandstone, we can smelt that into smooth sandstone, which I might go with. Let me quickly smelt this up. We are also getting the occasional squid in our water now, because I guess we are within the right Y level range for squid to spawn. And so occasionally we are going to find some ink sacs just kind of hanging around. But the idea with the frame drawer here is that you can craft it with other blocks like this, and you can customize the look. So if I were to put this here, the top left corner determines kind of the overall look, and then you have the top right, which is the trim, and then you have the bottom left, which is the front face. And so you can use like almost any block you like to customize the texture of this block, and eventually it's just going to look like a drawer. I'm thinking, though, that for our setup here, I might just go with something like this. You can also redo this, by the way. If you get something you don't like, you can retexture it after the fact to make it look different. But I'm kind of thinking that something like this is going to keep our current sandstone look. And in theory, what we could do here is we could take this, we could maybe just kind of hide it inside of the waterfall here, like this, and then we could fill that up with sand, for example. We took the sand out of here and just went and placed it into this drawer. We do want to make sure that we lock all of our drawers as we go, because if you don't lock the drawer, especially with it connected to, and I thought we made the key, but again, we lost a bunch of items in the last episode, so I'm not quite sure what happened with that. We can make another one. Especially with it connected up to the refined storage system, if you take all the sand out, that then leaves the drawer open for other items to go in, and that's not necessarily what we want. So you want to make sure that all of your drawers are locked if they are connected to the refined storage system. And essentially now my plan is to kind of fill in a little bit the area behind the waterfall with more drawers. So we can make a bunch of drawers, and we can start storing some of our stuff in those drawers. For example, stuff like clay, we can move out. Stuff like sandstone, we can move out. Important resources like lapis, redstone, quartz, iron, diamonds, gold, everything can be kind of moved into storage drawers. And then what we can also do to connect them up to the drawer controller is we can utilize trim. So trim is essentially just a way of connecting drawers to each other or to the controller without needing more drawers. You'll see here gold nuggets have made their way in here because this drawer wasn't locked. Essentially, though, let's say we wanted to connect this drawer here up to the drawer controller. There are two ways we could do that. We could put 3 more storage drawers here, here, and here, but if we don't want to spend that much on storage drawers, we can instead use trim here, here, and here. The trim is cheaper because you get 4 at a time, and it doesn't require as much wood. And now we've connected this drawer to this controller without having to have more drawers in its place, and that gold nugget is now accessible via the system. And so my plan, really, is going to be to place down a bunch more custom drawers behind the wall. So we'll put like one here, one here, one here, one here. We'll put down a bunch of drawers in this area and also potentially in the other areas around the base. And then if we just run trim down under the ground, what we should then be able to do is move the controller underneath the platform. And I think for that, we do already have some energy cables under here because we have to extract from the battery to get it to the controller there. But I think you can waterlog these cables. So if I were to put, let's say, the controller here in the center, like that, and then let's say I wanted to put this here, yeah, you totally can waterlog that. The only reason, by the way, that this water is here is so that we can periodically refill our canteen, which we still can do even with that external storage there. And so now all we would have to do is kind of dig up the floor a little bit over towards the drawers and then run some trim under the ground up and kind of behind the sandstone into these drawers to allow them to be connected to the system. And I think we'll do that for a bunch of drawers. One thing we'll also do is probably invest in a couple of compacting drawers as well, because as we've seen before, the compacting drawers here are quite useful. We are once again, by the looks of it, out of wood, although we can use dark oak logs here, especially if we're making customizable drawers, which I think we will do. So if we make 2 more pistons and if we make another regular drawer, in this case, by regular drawer, I mean a dark oak drawer, which apparently we do into the chest for. That's fine. Boom and boom. We can then get ourselves a compacting drawer, and the compacting drawer can be upgraded to a framed compacting drawer just by surrounding it with some sticks. And at that point, if we do this, and I think it was this with this guy here, yep, that gets us a framed drawer that's also textured to look like sandstone, a compacting drawer that is. And now if we put something like iron in here, obviously, much like with the gold, our iron, not the canteen, our iron is available in ingot and block form, and when we connect it to the system, it will also still be available in ingot and block form. And you can also do the same, of course, with things like redstone here. That makes it available in block form as well, so we don't have to keep crafting redstone blocks. And so, yeah, I'm going to go away and quickly throw down a bunch more storage drawers here and get them all locked up and connected, hopefully, to our drawer controller. All right, and a little bit of drawer crafting and placing later. We now have 16 drawers on this side. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8 over here, and then 2, 4, 6, 8 over here in the same place that the sandstone was before. And we've got the same over here, but these are all compacting drawers. So again, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 2, 4, 6, 8. So we've got 16 compacting drawers and 16 regular drawers, with space, of course, for 32 more drawers between these 2 extra sides here for a total of 64 drawers. And of course, if we really wanted to, we could go further up or further down in the area behind the waterfalls here to make that work. Basically, we grew a bunch more dark oak trees because the dark oak trees are just bigger. You get logs a lot faster than with regular oak, and that's why our trim here is dark oak trim. But we got trim that runs from the controller round over to here. It goes up behind the stairs, and then it splits off left and right, and it touches this drawer and this drawer. You don't have to connect to every single drawer. The drawers will connect to each other. So the trim connects to this drawer, and then, of course, this drawer connects to all the other drawers. At the back here, there is a gap, and so there is 3 pieces of trim hiding behind what is going to be a piece of sandstone. Sandstone also has its own drawer now. It is over here, and so if we take some sandstone out, we can go ahead and fill this in like so. That's going to look how it's supposed to look. Same over here. There's 3 trim connecting the drawer here to the drawer here, and therefore all of the drawers together. And with all of those down, we should now have access to everything in all of our drawers. They're not currently all full. In fact, quite a lot of them are empty. More of the compacting drawers are full. We've got redstone, we've got coal, we have got diamonds, emeralds, we've got lapis, we have got glowstone, we've got nether quartz, we've got brick, which I didn't know worked, but totally does. You can put brick and brick blocks in there. Real quick, it looks like I have something bound to the C key. Can I show conflicts? Toggle customizable overlay. Let me get rid of that. Clear crafting grid inventory. Get rid of that. I press C to zoom in. Pneumaticcraft chest plate launcher. Get rid of that. And run inventory interaction grids. Get rid of that. So now when I zoom in, yeah, before when I was zooming in, I kept like swiping with my hand. I'm not quite sure why, but either way, now we've got brick over here, which this does work. So you can put regular brick in, and it's available in block form. We have got iron, copper, gold and compressed iron with more space for more ingots in the future. And so now, really, we can go ahead and just kind of cover this all up with a little bit more in the way of marble. And going forward, if we ever get a resource that we have a lot of that we don't want to store in our system, we can just chuck it into one of either the compacting drawers or the regular drawers and have access to it without taking up space over here. So now that's taken care of, let's quickly see if we can't kind of finalize our storage upgrades for today and see if we can't get that 16K storage drive, because we've got our frame drawers, we've got our external storage. The 16K drive here will kind of cement us in terms of storage, I think, for at least a couple of episodes. So if we want to make a 16K storage drive, we need 3 4K drives, as well as 4 improved processors. And then to get 3 4K drives, each one requires 3 1K drives. So we need 3, 6, 9 1K drives to make 3 4K drives to make 1 16K drive. So 9 1K drives is actually fairly straightforward, I think. Our redstone does not seem to be accessible. Oh, I've made a mistake here. And that mistake, I think the iron is also not going to be accessible. Yeah, I need to put down just a few more pieces of trim because not all of these are connected. So the problem that we're currently running into is that back here, our drawer for cobblestone, for example, isn't connected. We need a piece of trim here to connect that up. The same is true over on this side for the iron to connect up. So over here is our iron block. If we do this, that should connect iron to the system, I would think, if there's any iron in there, which there appears not to be. I might have used all my iron, actually. We need to do the same over here as well, though. We need to connect up the redstone drawer. So if we quickly grab our shovel, this is the drawer for redstone, and then this is the drawer for lapis. If I do that, that should bring the redstone back into the mix. It doesn't. Hold on. Is lapis also not connected? Lapis should be connected to these drawers. Oh, I think I've made quite a big mistake, actually. I think we need a lot more trim than I've put down. We've got a trim connecting here, but then there's no drawer connecting this drawer to any of these drawers. So actually, there's a fair bit more trim required. Hold on. I have vastly underestimated the amount of trim required here, and the fact that there's not that much sandstone up here really makes this a bit of a pain to work with sometimes. But over behind here, we do need, oh gosh, I really should have replaced a lot of this with sandstone before I started working on it, but we need to replace a few more blocks with trim. For example, right around here, I believe this is our diamond block. That's our coal block. If I put a block here, that should connect up those two. That's fine. Let's replace that down to get the water out of the back. And so now this is connected to this. This is connected to this. We need to connect these two together. So I think behind the sandstone, so we get rid of this, get rid of this, and then place another trim here, and then we can fill that back in. Now these are all connected to this, and then over here, I now need to connect up like these two. So I think I need to get rid of this one, this one, this one, and this one. I've made this way harder for myself than it needs to be, but if we do this, this, and this, now I think everything should be connected. There's our redstone. Okay, perfect. Still no iron. I think that, oh no, we do have our iron again now. Okay, cool. Good. All right. I'll work on fixing the water soon, but back over in here, we hopefully have what we need to make 9 1K storage pots. We might need more silicon. More glass, really, is the problem. That is fine. Of course, sand is something we do have. Again, I'm going to have to go do the same thing on this side because I've not put the trim down on that side either. We'll go do that in just a second. Let me get my 2 furnaces down temporarily, here and here, and we'll put some coal into those. Boom and boom. And for now, we can just go and do this and this just to get the sand smelting up. Fantastic. And yeah, let me put that back in here. Good stuff. I'll also take more sand, actually, and get that running in the sag mill, because I do think we're going to run out of silicon as well if we try and make this 16K drive. So just to be safe, I'll put another stack in here and get that processing. Good stuff. We got more basic processors here, which is fantastic. We are going to need those for the 16K drive. And while we wait for this glass to smelt up, let me quickly go and put down the same trim that I've just put down over here, over on this side, to make sure everything is actually connected up. All right, so the drawers are now all hooked up, and we have close to a stack of glass. And so back over here, we should be able to, I think, fairly easily get up to the 9. He says fairly easy. We need so much more quartz enriched iron. I always forget about this section of the craft. But that is almost 9 1K storage parts. Over here, we do need yet more silicon. Thankfully, we did prepare for this, and we have 34 more, sorry, ready to go. Over here, let's do this, and let's get 1, 2, 3 more. Perfect. So there's our 9 1K storage parts. That should be everything to make 3 of these. This is where all of those basic processes from earlier come into play. And then if we want to craft this up, we have everything we need. Nice. Okay, chat, that was actually way less difficult than I thought it would be. The only thing we're missing now is 2 more quartz enriched iron. Boom and boom. And now we take our storage space up from 3K to 19K. That's a massive uptick, over a 6x increase in the amount of storage available to us inside of our disk drives, and even more if you factor in all of the storage drawer space that we could offload some of our items into if we really wanted to as well. Cool. So now that that is taken care of, the next thing that I did want to work on was our chicken situation. I'm going to get rid of these as well because I did say they were temporary and I don't want them to stay here for the foreseeable future. So we'll get rid of those for the time being. But chickens, we have... obviously, I want to kind of move everything up here. Like, all of it is going to get moved, and we're going to kind of reinvent a lot of what's going on. But chickens, especially, are going to need to get automated. So I'm going to build an area, I think, over on this side to make that work. But before we do that, we can look at the process by which we're going to automate the feeding of these chickens. So there's 2 things we need to do here. We need to get the seeds from our wheat farm over into the chickens. That's kind of step 1. And then step 2 from there is also taking all of the items out of these drawers and putting them ideally into our storage drawers, right? So that we can access them very easily without having to walk over and grab them from over here. So we definitely do want to have a drawer for feathers, just because we're going to get so many of them. And in fact, I do think that the feather drawer is one that we're going to want to put a void upgrade into, because I think that's going to be the drawer that fills up faster than any other, especially if we make a lot of resources via chickens, which it looks like we are going to do. If we wanted to get another void upgrade, we would need to get more obsidian. Obsidian is probably one of those resources we should look at automating in the not so distant future, because it's really not too difficult to automate. Given that we have unlimited pressure with our liquid compressor and our fluid generator, all it would mean is kind of maybe upgrading the block here to generate the lava faster, pumping some of the lava in here, and then doing the same thing with a water fluid generator, pumping water in there, and then obsidian would be fully automated, and that would give us as many void upgrades as we like. What I think we'll do, though, is I think we will utilize the import bus, also known as the importer, right here. It's the import bus from Applied Energy 6.2, with refined storage is called the importer. This just requires 1 more destruction core, which we can make, and boom, there's our importer. This does exactly what you'd expect it to do and what it says in the tin, and it allows you to import items into your system. So what I am thinking here is that if we were to go ahead and take our chickens away, let me see how many more nests I can make over here. I think the thing stopping us making more nests was, they're called stasis chambers, of course. The thing stopping us making more stasis chambers, I think, was grass, because I was under the impression that we had a ton of wheat blocks. I guess not. We do have a ton of wheat, though, that we can use to produce more. The grass was not too difficult, I don't believe. I believe we got some mossy blocks, and we bone mealed those mossy blocks. Now, in terms of bone mealing, again, we are going to want to get a composter, I believe, which I did make for our farmer. Did I put it back in the system? I did. Fantastic. Let's do this here, and let's temporarily throw down some moss blocks, like so, just so that we can bone meal those for a chance to get grace. And I think seeds should do the trick over here, although saplings might also work. I don't know if there's a better one of those to use, but we do have way more seeds than we do saplings, so we'll do that. That gets us bone meal. Fantastic. And if we do this, that kind of does what we want, and then we can shear that to get the grass blocks. Fantastic. For a few more nests, and those nests are just going to allow us to, and by nests again I mean stasis chambers. So we'll take, for now, I guess just 2 more of these once we get some more hay bales, which of course requires more wheat. I did plant my sugarcane over here between episodes. Now, the collector drone is not collecting the sugarcane. Somebody in the Twitch chat, I put this in manual, by the way, somebody in the Twitch chat was hypothesizing that when you put the collector drone down on a chest, it might act as a filter. So the items currently in the chest, when you place it down, might kind of act as a filter to what is picked up. So you'll see right now, he has pressure, and that sugarcane is definitely within his radius, but he's not picking it up. If I pick him up, place some sugarcane in here manually, and then put him back down, does he go pick up the sugarcane? He totally does. Nice. That's interesting. So if you have items in your chest when you place the collector drone down, it looks like the collector drone is then whitelisted to only pick those items up. So now if I just throw some like random grass on the floor here, he's not going to pick that up because it's not wheat, seeds, or sugarcane, which is actually pretty useful. It does mean that we're only going to get the exact items that we want inside of this chest. And in fact, it's probably worth replacing this chest with a 2x2 drawer that we upgrade with drawer upgrades to allow us to hold a lot more than we currently can. If we were, I don't know if we have enough oak to make this happen. We actually might. If I do this, we can get 4 chests very easily, and then from there we can probably make a dark oak drawer, but I should probably make a 2x2 drawer like this, a framed one. And then with this, what I might do, it's in a different section of the base, and that section of the base does have dark oak around it, like we got dark oak kind of around the front there. So what I might do is I might go and... Can we make some more marble with what we have in our system? We totally can. And so what I'm thinking I might do is I might do this with a dark oak trim and a marble front. I do like this setup. So we'll take this, and for now we'll place this down in place of that golden chest. And yeah, that seems fine. It's going to be a little awkward. What I'll do is I'll take the wheat out, and I'll put these in here. We are going to have to upgrade this, because by default you can only hold 512 of each item in each slot, but as we've seen previously, you can make drawer upgrades, and given that we have a surprising amount of emeralds, and by surprising I mean 16, but given that we have 16 emeralds, we could go ahead and make a tier 5 drawer upgrade, this one right here, which is going to increase the base size of the drawer by 32x. So by default, it can hold 512. 512 multiplied by 32 is 16,384. So each one of those slots is going to be able to hold 16,384 items, which is much more than we can store in this gold chest. And that's kind of the idea, because the gold chest is almost full here. It's not really going to last too much longer. Instead, if we do this, if we do this, and of course, if we do this, we could then lock this drawer, like so. It gives us space to add another item to the list in the future if we so wish. We could take this drone away, pick up the gold chest, move over the 2x2 drawer. Again, we do want this centered to make sure the drone gets maximum coverage. Replace that down on top, and I think that's going to work in the exact same way as the chest. Cool. And it's going to also give us sugar that we can then use, of course, to make the speed upgrades going forward. So let me go ahead then and grab some of the wheat. That's why we went over there in the first place. We'll take more wheat out of here to make more nests. And what I'm going to do, kind of just for demonstration purposes here, is I'm going to go ahead and make a few more nests. And I'm going to place these down over close to the wheat farm, but then between episodes, I'm going to work on setting up a new area, I think, over here to house our chickens, both the ones that need breeding and the ones that are producing resources. For now, though, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, ideally, some more chests. Again, we do need more wood if we're going to make that happen. Let's do this. I actually need, like, some chests to begin with here to put our little chicken stasis chambers on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put these chests down on the edge of the farm. So over here, what we'll do is we'll put down a chest, let's say here, and then I do want to make sure that I shift click that down. Not that it really matters too much, but if I do this and this, we can then begin bringing our chickens over to here. And as we bring those chickens over, that kind of frees up some space. The reason we had to do it this way is just that our chicken catcher, which I'm going to have to make another one of, can only move like one chicken at a time. So if we quickly grab, I think it's just called a catcher, not a chicken catcher. It is, I think it's capture, like this, not catcher. We need at least one of these, but maybe ideally 2 of these. And then we're going to move our chickens over one by one. I'll start with the ones that are actually good, that being the ones that are 10, 10, 10. So let's throw one of these guys down right about here, and the other one down right about here. Perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to use, I think, the item pipes to pipe into these chickens like this, which is pretty good. You can just pipe directly into them. And I think what we'll do from there is we'll also pipe out of the bottom of these chests into one centralized storage chest. So my thought process is that if we have a centralized chest, let's say over here somewhere, like this, we can then put the importer down directly onto this chest, like this, and then have all of the other items from all of the other chests go to that importer. The benefit of this is that we don't have to make a ton of importers, right? We can just do something like this. We're going to go ahead and connect that up, obviously, with pipe, and then we'll set both of these to extract here, and here. And that way, all of the redstone and all of the iron that are produced by these chickens will make its way around to this chest. And then if we get some more cable, we can then connect to this importer round and to our refined storage system. And in doing so, all of the iron, all the redstone, all the feathers will go to this chest, and they'll be pulled in from this chest to the system and placed into their respective storage drawers behind our waterfall. And yeah, that's kind of the idea. What we're going to need here is a lot more iron. And I think that currently we are basically out of iron, which is not ideal. So let me get a bunch of wheat seeds and let me feed those wheat seeds specifically to this iron chicken. Let's also give that iron chicken a little bit of love with our time in a bottle here. Let's try and make him just a little bit faster. I'm going to go all the way up to 128x. That does use a fair amount of our time, but that should start to produce the iron quite quickly. The reason we need so much iron is just because we do need quite a lot of item pipes. I'm not entirely certain how many we're going to need here, but we are going to need quite a few. Let's make a couple of droppers. I will go for even more than that. Again, one thing we're probably also going to want to do is we can either move our resource generators here, which I probably will do, and we could maybe put down like another draw controller, because you can have more than one draw controller if it's on a separate network. So what I'll probably do is maybe replace this with a draw, put down another draw controller, and have all of these connected up again with one more external storage so that we can access all of this stuff without having to come up here over and over again as well. That would be ideal. And so if we head back down here, let me see about crafting up at least a few more of these droppers, because we do an even number. 6 I'll do for now. And then let's do this. That's 48 pipes. So I am interested here if I can utilize the pipe connector. I think we can, but I'm going to try and utilize it to hopefully good effect. So what I'm thinking is if we go ahead and get rid of this pipe here for a second, and then we shift click onto this chicken with the item pipe in our offhand, like that. That's going to set the output slot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the bottom of this drawer as the input slot. So for that, I need to dig down, and I need to right click on the bottom of that drawer. It does specifically have to be the bottom. If it's not the bottom, it's not going to work. So let's do this. And that's set to the bottom of that. And you'll see now that's given us a setup. And this actually looks completely fine. As per usual, if we shift right click, and by shift right click, I mean just right click. Nope, shift right click, shift left click. I get this wrong every time. Shift right click, there we go. If we shift right click into the air, we can, oh no, we can scroll to change the depth, I see. So obviously this is too shallow. That's going to break our wheat. That there, a depth of 2, I think is fine. Yeah, I think that's actually perfect. I don't know why it's red on this side. I think that's might be the start and end point. But now if we shift right click and click place pipes, look at that. It's done it. Cool. So we can disconnect. I don't know why there's a pipe. Oh no, I do know why there's a pipe there. We put it down a second ago. Let me disconnect that. Let's also disconnect this. That's set to insert. That's set to insert. Over on this side, I need to replant my wheat seeds. I keep breaking the wheat. But over here, we can just set this to extract. And I think that's going to be fine, because I don't think that wheat and sugar can go into the chickens. And so I'm fairly certain that we should just see, look at that, 16, 20, 24. The wheat is going up in here. Right now, it's not set to round robin. We would have to get a better pipe upgrade if we wanted it to distribute the seeds evenly. For now, I don't think that's a problem. We've got loads of seeds and not that many chickens. But essentially, we're going to take our excess pipes. We're going to do something like this to allow all of the items to make their way over into here. And then from there, all we need to do is just grab the remainder of our chickens from over here and take them over and set them up as well. And at that point, we've kind of automated the good chickens, at least. So we'll take you. We will also grab the other net. And I'm not going to take the diamond or the emerald just yet, but I think we do have a copper chicken, right? That is 10, 10, 10. We do. He's right there. Perfect. I'll take you as well. And we'll get those all thrown down back here. So let's do, oh, I do need those chests as well, actually. And again, as I mentioned earlier, a log chicken might not be a terrible idea. We could do a little bit of tree harvesting to get a log chicken, a 10, 10, 10 log chicken, actually, fairly easily. These chests are pretty full. These ones here, less so, though. So we'll take you. We'll take you. We do only have 2 more chickens here, so that is completely fine. And we'll throw these down, of course, over next to our pre-existing chickens. And this is kind of the basic premise, right? We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to throw down our nests here and here. We're going to make sure those also receive pipes here and here. And then we'll do this and this. And now we have automated the production of redstone, iron, coal, copper, and feathers. And they're all going to come over into here, which is good. And then from there, all we need to do is get some more cable. We only have 9 right now, but we're going to have to run cable from there down and around to our controller. So for that, we're probably going to need more quartz-enriched iron. Yeah, I had a feeling that would be the case. Again, thankfully, we made quite a bit of silicon blend at the start of the episode, so making more of this is not too difficult. You do make quite a bit at a time. I'm not quite sure if 33 is going to be enough, but I think what I will do is just kind of dig from... Oh, I can't quite do it from there. That's a little awkward because we've got the energy pipe in front of it. I do believe that we can make cable covers from refined storage. We can. These covers right here are pretty interesting. I believe we want to do it, in our case, with marble bricks like this. And you can use these cable covers, you guessed it, to cover up cables. So if you have your cables down like this, you can then right-click like this to cover the cables with marble. And so, annoyingly, you don't get them back when you break the pipe, so we are going to have to make a few of those. Thankfully, they're pretty easy to make. They just require iron nuggets, and we do have iron ingots. They are in our inventory. If we put those in the system, they should become available in nugget form, thanks to those compacting drawers. And so, I think what we will do then, in that case, is maybe somewhat awkwardly kind of run the cable around like this. We'll take it kind of from here and run it around to here, just because we need to keep that pipe there for energy transfer. But then we can go ahead and just cover this up like so, and it's as if it never happened. And if you really wanted to be, like, obviously we can cover these up like this and like this to make it even more inconspicuous. This one here obviously can't take a flat cover, but what we could do is we could make one of these hollow covers here, which you can make by just crafting a regular cover like that. And then if we place that down on here, that should work. Now, I say should because I think what we have to do is I think we have to place it down like this first. Oh, it's tricky. I think what we might have to do is we have to break this because I think it'll go on the wrong side of the pipe if I don't do it this way. I think we place it here. We place this here. Then I think we place this here. Then we, of course, set this to priority 10, and we replace this pipe cover like that. Perfect. All right. That totally works. It's a little janky and maybe not strictly necessary, but now we should just be able to run this cable along through here. I think we'll go in a straight line until we get to like here. And then once we get to here, we'll just dig out a little bit of a tunnel that goes across like this. Again, it's always difficult working with the sand because the sand just falls every single time. But I think we'll go at least one more deep here so we can recover it up with sand. I don't believe we can use the pipe connector here, chat. I'm actually not entirely certain if that's the case. Let me give that a try. If I, that's a good question. I assume it doesn't work, but it honestly might. If I do, you know, it actually might work. I don't know what, I feel like it's going to take the shortest path possible over to here, which is maybe, yeah, it's probably not, like we can shift and scroll to lower it down, which I mean, I guess does give it the fastest route over here. That's very interesting. And actually probably good for us. We need 16 more pipe. Interesting. I really did not think that was going to work. It's going to be horrible if we ever need to do any maintenance on it, because I'm not going to have a clue where it goes. But you know what? If we quickly grab some more cable, we can probably make that work. I think the only thing we were missing for more cable was quartz-enriched iron, and for that we were just missing iron, which we do now have. So let's do, we need 2 more batches of this, which we're not going to have enough for, right? Yeah, we need 1 more set of quartz-enriched iron. Boom. And boom. And you know what? Let's give it a try. Let's take the pipe placer again. Let's shift right-click in the air. Make sure it's set to the right depth. I want it quite deep there so it doesn't... I think that's the right depth. If I scroll up, yeah, that's not where I want it. I want it there. That looks fine, though. Let's shift right-click, place pipes. And I assume that just kind of worked. Let's go check over on our drawer over here. And in an ideal world, this would be importing. Now, I don't know how well I don't know like if it registers the connection when the pipes mod does it. Let me just quickly do like one of these to make sure it's like properly connected, because sometimes that can just be a small issue. I can't help but notice that we're not importing here, which I feel like we should be. Like it should be pulling items into the system. Let me go see if I can't figure out why. Okay, so all I did is I broke this cable here and then replaced it, and now it's showing up. You'll see in here. It wasn't showing up before, but now it's there, and so if we go over once again, just as soon as we drink a little bit, we should be able to see all of the items being imported. Nice. You can make speed upgrades. These guys right here to make this faster. Again, this is something we'll look at in the future. For now, I think this is fine. We're not making that many resources with our chickens, and I think for now we're doing okay. We do want to make sure that, of course, that all of these are set to extract. So extract and extract, extract and extract. Currently, these are all set to insert, which is why they've got, you know, random stuff in there. But all of that is going to get extracted around, and that's automated. So I'm going to move this. I know chat just made a good point that I probably shouldn't have put that long pipe there if I was going to move it, but it shouldn't be too difficult to pick it up, especially with Ultimine. Ultimine can break up to 64 pipes at once, and I believe when you break with Ultimine, it will bring all the pipes to me, so I can just kind of break this pipe here, like that, or this cable, I should say, and then if I Ultimine the rest, you'll see in the top left there, it says mining 49 blocks. It's going to mine all of the cables and just place them down in front of me, so I should be able to get them back fairly easily. But yeah, that's kind of the plan. As I mentioned before, we do now have plastic, so what I might do in the next episode as well is look at getting a logistics drone to move the seeds. I know we're using the pipes right now, and we might even use the pipes again in the future to for their round-robin functionality, for like inserting into the chickens. But I think what we might do in the next episode is maybe get a logistics drone to pull the seeds from here and kind of fly them all the way over to the chicken area, which we're going to set up over here. So between streams, I'll work on setting up a few new areas on all of the different sides of the base. I'll look at moving the pneumatic stuff over, moving the chickens into their own little area, and moving, of course, the chickens that we have there. We'll move those, and next time we'll come back, we'll look at using the logistics drone to move things over. We'll look at potentially getting some more automation up and running as well, because right now we don't really have any automation up and running. The only automation we have really is the automation for the mineral chunks, so we'll, of course, look at setting up more automation for everything. We got like the gold here. We can do the same thing with the gold where we set up an area for strainers that we can just import all the gold from this drawer. If we're going to use an importer, we can probably just replace this with a non-compacting drawer and import all the gold into the compacting drawer that we have for gold. This one right here. And yeah, that's kind of the plan. We're going to do some base work, make everything look a little bit nicer. And then once we've got like a good foundation set up for resource production, we can then look at moving on into big power, nether, and age of netherite, because we're not too far away from the end of the pack, but the end of the pack is going to require a lot of resources. So we do need to get a good foundational setup for resource production before we can really move forward. Real quick, before we do wrap up for today, I think we can look at getting these speed upgrades. I mentioned this in the last episode, and we've yet to actually get any. So if we want to get some speed upgrades, we need sugar, is the main thing, right? And we do have a little bit of sugarcane over in our drawer over here, right? How much have we got? We have got 10. One thing that might not be a terrible idea is kind of just putting down more sugarcane. It will eat into our wheat production, but we can go ahead and kind of plant down a few more sugarcane here. We could also potentially do with just setting up a dedicated sugarcane area maybe at some point. But I think the sugarcane's worth it here just because it is going to make things like our drones faster. Now, if I do want to set up at least one speed upgrade, I'm going to need some sugar here. We also need lapis, and of course, we need lubricant. Lubricant we do have over here. Perfect. So I can actually, I think, finally make at least one speed upgrade. Good stuff. Also, who's selling us sugarcane? Because we could also potentially look at just buying more sugarcane, because we do have quite a lot of resources. All those tanks there are now fully backed up on liquids, and so we could start selling more of those to get more relic scraps, and then use those relic scraps to get more. Chat does make a good point here that it's possible, actually, that I'm being a fool, and that we could process the sugarcane through the sag mill to get way more sugarcane. So you're guaranteed one, and there's a 50% chance that you get an extra one twice by the looks of it. Oh, the squeezer actually is the way to go. You get 4 sugar per sugarcane in the squeezer. That is crazy. Okay, fine. Let me get my Amadron tablet. Let's sell the gasoline. This one is 2 buckets per, and we got 15, so we can do this like 7 times. We will, yep, that's fine. We'll do 7. I know I can't do more than 7. Place order. We'll then switch to the kerosene, because these are all going to fill up automatically between episodes. Not enough pressure in my Amadron tablet is not ideal. Let me quickly see about recharging that up in here. We can also make the charging station faster, and we can make the liquid compressor faster, of course, to keep up with the faster charging as well. As for the kerosene, let's sell a bunch of that. We've got 15, so we can do like 5 of these, place order, and then we'll do, I'm not going to do the lubricant, obviously. The lubricant is LPG, right? Let me check on that. It might be diesel now that I think about it. I keep getting that wrong. It is diesel. Okay, so we can sell the LPG. LPG-wise, we have got 14,000, and it is just one at a time, so we can actually do a ton of LPG here. Fantastic. Place order, and we're just going to get a bunch of relic scraps, and of course we can maybe somewhat inefficiently use those relic scraps to buy sugarcane, and then we can use our mechanical squeezer, which is all the way over there. In the time it took me to do that, I'm hopeful that we might have managed to get a few more sugarcane over here. I see a few more. I don't think I've noticed. Yeah, we got one more. I was going to say the sugarcane there hasn't really grown much since I left, but it does mean that now, using the mechanical squeezer, we get 1 speed upgrade per sugarcane, which is a substantially better value than what we were getting for, which was 4 sugarcane per speed upgrade. And so we can go ahead and take those. Did I get 6 from that? I did get 6 from that, because there's a 50% chance you get 2 extra. That's by far and away the best way to process your sugarcane. But if we do this, we can then, of course, take our redstone, and we can go start moving the diesel over into... oh, we got molten plastic that we need to get rid of course. Sure, let me quickly empty this out. Lovely. And then we can take the diesel and start pumping that into here. Not the crude oil. That's not what I wanted to take. I can't really do much with that. Can I not put that into the flopper? Nope, all of those floppers are full. Okay, fine. In that case, then, we're going to have to just get a different bucket, perhaps. But we should now be able to throw our redstone into here in place of the coal. That should start producing the lubricant again, and of course we can keep taking that lubricant and crafting it into speed upgrades. Now I'm interested, actually. Can we put the speed upgrades into the drones? I was under the impression we could put the speed upgrades into the drones. Let me steal, and by steal I mean just kind of turn off one of our pre-existing drones. We'll go for the harvester drone, I think. So he is somewhere. You're the collector drone. Oh, he's here. I was gonna say, I don't think the collector drone needs to be as fast. But in here, whoops, let's do that. In here, if we put this in and we go to here, he can take speed upgrades. A maximum of 10 speed upgrades. It's quite a lot. So now he's got 3 speed upgrades. If I put him back down, he goes up on here, right? So if I put him on there, he should grab the hoe again and should get to work. I am intrigued though to see if he just like moves faster, or if he harvests faster. I'm not quite sure what the benefit is here. Is he out of hose? He is out of hose. You never want to be out of hose. That's not ideal. Okay, let me go make some more hose. We could probably do, again, once we get some auto crafting up and running, we could do with exporting hose automatically to that chest to make sure that it's always full. Again, if we're producing iron automatically, that should be completely doable. For now, let's do it manually, of course. We'll throw these in. Boom, boom, and boom. That should get him to work, and hopefully we're going to see a slightly faster drone. I don't know how much faster he's going to be with 3 speed upgrades versus 0, but hopefully a little bit. And then we could also do with making like just a bunch more speed upgrades, because those extra speed upgrades... Oh yeah, no, he's definitely moving a little quicker. That's good. Yeah, we want so many more speed upgrades. I think all of the sugarcane here is definitely going to be worth investing in. We should have a lot more sugarcane in here, right? Or a lot more relic scraps in here that we can use to somewhat inefficiently buy more sugarcane, which is unfortunate. We can get 1 more speed upgrade here, but yeah, next time, chat, we'll come back. Hopefully, we're going to come back to a lot more sugarcane. We don't have that much more compressed iron right now, so I can't really make more of these crop supports just yet. But once we get another pressure chamber up and running, we'll make some more of those support frames, and we'll use those support frames to allow us to grow that sugarcane a bit faster. But hopefully, whilst I'm working on base progression between streams, we'll get some more sugarcane, and next time we'll come back and we'll look at making everything that we have substantially faster. Things like the pressure chamber, things like our compressors, and like I mentioned earlier, alternating obsidian should be something we can do fairly easily, especially if we can get faster pressure as well. But those are all problems for future Isaac. For now, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of Desertopolis there.